Me again. I have had a lot of people ask me about mixing the Splurge cream shadow with the mineral pigments. And I've had a lot of people ask me about my purple eyeshadow and how to recreate that look. So yes, you can mix the Splurge with the mineral pigments, and that's actually how I create this look. So I wanted to really quickly show you how I do that. Um, First, I start with the Splurge cream shadow, and I use our cream shadow brush. You don't have to. You can use your finger. I've even had people use a Q-tip. However you want to do it. I prefer the brush just because I can, and I get most of my stuff free as a presenter, so I like the brush. So I just coat my whole lash and a little bit into and above my crease with the cream. And sorry, I'm gonna get my mirror so I can move a little faster here. Trying to use your camera as a mirror is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So again, just I get a really good amount on there because I love the bright color. I'm using Dainty, and you can do this as light or dark as you want. Again, I like mine to be dark and really bright and stand out. Purples are really good for people with hazel or green eyes. I have hazel eyes, and every time I create this look, I have people compliment my eyes and tell me how much they really pop and stand out. So the next color I'm using is Glamorous, and it is a mineral pigment, and it's a loose pigment. I just tap a little bit into the lid, and I use our crease brush, and I kind of just swirl it around and tap the excess powder off back into the lid. And I'm going to take this crease brush, and I always start on the outside because that's where I want it the darkest, and just go along that crease line and a little bit above just to add some depth. And then I'm going to come in to my lid and make that V shape there in the corner. And then I'm going to kind of go in and just fill that void in the middle of that V with this darker color. Again, this is Glamorous, and it is a mineral pigment. So that gives it that depth in that corner and just really makes that pop out. The last color I use is Flirty, which is a really light shimmery purple. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm making a huge mess on my chair over here. And I'm using our liner and shader brush. I'm going to actually use the shader end. And I'm just going to get a nice amount on my brush there and just kind of pat it into the lid. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to pat that into that area along my brow. I want to pat that in there first since it is a loose powder. And I'm going to drag that all the way down to the corner to kind of pull all of this together. And one thing you always want to make sure of when you're doing your eyes is when the color that you use along your brow line, that lighter color to brighten, you always want to go in this little area here inside your eye, and that really just brightens up your eye. And it's okay if you get too much, you can go back with your foundation brush and tone that down. And again, I just go back until I get the desired look. Sometimes if you need to, you can take that cream brush and kind of zigzag that back and forth in there to really smooth out that transition between the cream and the powder. And then I just go back and kind of tone down that dividing line Then when I'm done, I just kind of use my finger and kind of smooth that up to my brow to give that end line. But that's it. That's how I use the cream and the pigments together. So if you don't have the Splurge cream shadow, it's a must-have. I know a lot of you don't like creams. I was not a fan. I wasn't thrilled when they said they were coming out with cream shadows. It was like, I'll get them just so I can say I've tried them, but they are phenomenal. They don't crease, they don't cake, they're not heavy, they're not sticky. They go on like pudding consistency almost, and they just glide right on and they last all day. So if you don't have the Splurge cream shadows, go get them.